welcome back to my channel. This is Karshita, and once again I'm back with one more important video on one more important poem of the Hornbill in our one shot exam ready series, where I tell you the complete explanation synopsis about the poem, about the poet, as well as the NCRT solutions and the most important questions, making you super duper ready to tackle any of the question in your exam. Without wasting any further ado, let's get started today as well. सो आज का जो हमारा टॉपिक होने वाला है, इट इज़ गोइंग टू बी वॉइस ऑफ द रेन फ्रॉम क्लास 11th रिटन बाय वॉल्ट विचमैन. दिस इज़ अ वेरी simple poem which revolves around how the poet conversates with the rain and compares it with music and tries to understand the emotions and role of the rain. A very simple poem, very easy to understand. So let's just get started. I'll be telling you poetic devices as well. No need to worry about that. Here is our poem. Yay, here it is. Okay. The Voice of the Rain by Walt Whitman. It starts with the poet talking with the soft falling shower. Let me just give you a quick intro of the poem. The Voice of the Rain is a poem which is written by the American poet Walt Whitman. The poem is an account of the poet's experience with the rain. He has personified the rain by giving it the attributes of a person who can eloquently explain its inner thoughts and feelings. It talks about its role on the earth by portraying how it helps the various forms of life to thrive on this earth. तो इतना तो आप समझ गए होंगे कि इस पोएम में भर भर के you are finding personification, because the whole rain is now starting to speak, expressing his emotions and all of that stuff. That is completely personification. So let's start. And who art thou? So whenever a question mark come, you know that is interrogation, because ये हमारा childhood में भी आने वाला है interrogation poetic device, so just remember that. And who art thou? Said I to the soft falling shower. So यहाँ पे this is personification. We have started personifying the shower because we are actually questioning, and how that can be done only by personification. The voice of the rain in itself, this whole line in itself, and who art thou, said I to the soft falling shower, is an example of apostrophe, which, strange to tell, gave me an answer as here translated. So the poet questioned the rain that who are you, and to the surprise of the poet, the rain started speaking. Now let us see what the rain spoke. I am the poem of the earth, said the voice of the rain. Poem of the earth. So here the rain had been compared to the poem, and it had been said that a rain is just like a poem of the earth. So this is metaphor. This is metaphor. Eternal I rise, impalpable out of the land and the bottomless sea. Bottomless sea is hyperbole, because you are just exaggerating the fact that the sea is bottomless, but the sea is so deep that it seems to be bottomless, but that is complete exaggeration that you are calling it is bottomless. So that is hyperbole. Said the voice of the rain, eternal I rise. Eternal I rise, that it rises to the infinity. It is never ending. It rises to the infinity. Impalpable, something that cannot be touched, out of the land and the bottomless sea. Upward to the heaven, whence vaguely formed. Whence vaguely formed means that when it rises in the form of vapors from the land or the bottomless sea, and then whence vaguely formed, and then what do it forms? It just not very particular in shape, it just in particular in shape, it altogether changes. It changes into what? It changes into clouds. It condenses and forms clouds, and finally still remains the same, because then it precipitates and falls on the earth in form of precipitates and falls on the earth in form of rain. So it started from bottomless sea or land, turned into vapor, formed clouds, precipitates in the form of the rain. So it's just moving in the cycle. That is simple. We are talking about water cycle. I descend to lave the draughts. Lave the draughts, to actually suffice the drought and to wash the dry spell and satisfies the thirst of the earth, the atomies and the dust layers of the globe. And all that in them without me were seeds only, latent and unborn. And without the rain, all the seeds that are once buried in earth would lay as it is. They would lay dormant, they would lay inactive, and they would never be turned into saplings. And forever by day and night I give back life to my origin. How it gives back life to his own origin? By the water cycle, because it keeps on moving in the same cycle and giving back life to its own origin, that is the sea. And make pure and beautify it. And actually it is very pure, it purifies the earth, it is itself very pure and beautify, and the whole earth is beautified because it leads to the growth of new plants. And now there is no dust, no atomies as well. For song issuing from its birthplace after fulfillment wandering, record or unrecord, heard or unheard. If you want to hear a song, you hear. If you don't hear it, no issues. But duly with love returns. It always returns with love in the heart of the musician. So in the last few lines, the poet writes his afterthoughts on what all the rain has told him, and now he is just explaining, he is just inferring what he has understood by by the rain. So these are afterthoughts of the poet, and these are written in parentheses. Afterthoughts, and they are written in parentheses. So this is an example of parenthesis. Then I give back life to my own origin. So when you first read it, you feel that it is completely wrong. So therefore it is a paradox. But when you deep dive into the statement, you understand how it is giving back life to its own origin, because it can actually fulfill the dust, the atomies, giving back life to the seas, and from the seas it just generates. So due to the water cycle, it gives back life to its own origin. Therefore this is paradox. Different pen. This is paradox. Next, day and night. So now you know what it is. It is antithesis. This antithesis have already been used in the last two poems, so it is very much clear. Latent, unborn. Latent, unborn, both the word means exactly the same. Latent also means that it is hidden, unborn also means it is hidden, it is not alive, something like that. Both the word means the same, but still they have been used all together just to create emphasis. This is an example of tautology. This was also used in the last poem, so this is also very much clear. Then we are having layers of the globe. So globe is an example of allusion, just as geography is an example of allusion in the poem The Childhood. I'll be explaining it in the next video. Stay tuned. I descend to leave the draughts, atomies, dust layers. This is antithesis, draughts, atomies, dust layers, and it is leaving it. This is antithesis. Next we are having allusion. Allusion is upward to the heaven. So heaven has allusion in it. I am just highlighting hyperbola because this is also heaven is allusion. Okay, then what we are having, metaphor, bottomless seas, hyperbola. Yeah, this is all the poem is all about. Some people might like or they might not like. They will hear, they will not hear, right? Record or unrecord. But still, they care or don't care. But they complete their work. The song, the rain, both complete their work on their own part, despite of the fact one likes it or don't likes it, right? Now I am, what is apostrophe? Apostrophe is when we talk or ask something to whom who is dead, absent, or someone who has been personified, that is apostrophe. Therefore the first line is an example of apostrophe, because we are asking something to a personified thing which do not exist in reality. This is apostrophe. So यहाँ पे हमने poetic devices भी कर लिए, and we have also done the explanation of the poem. So now this is time for the much awaited synopsis. Okay, so The poem begins with the poet asking for the identity of the soft falling shower, that is rain. Much to the surprise of the poet, the rain replies to his question, which the poet translates for his readers. The rain, in its own voice, tells the poet that it is the poem of this earth. It rises from the land and the deep sea in the form of intangible water vapor and goes up to the sky where it takes indistinct shape in the form of clouds. Although it changes its form or shape, its core matter remains the same. Since vapor and clouds contain water, they get transformed into the other. The words impalpable and eternal indicate that nature is not fully understood and some part of it always remains beyond our reach. The raindrops fall down from the sky to wash away the dross and dust layers, enveloping the earth, making it clean and green. It satiates, which means it satisfies the thirst of dry earth and heals everything that is regarding that is degrading and is lying lifeless. The rain also helps in the germination of seeds which were lying dormant due to the dry spell on the earth. The rain is involved in a continuous process of nourishing life on this earth. The last two lines are the poet's own words and his reflection upon the answers of the rain. The poet observes that the life of the rain is similar to that of a song. A song or a poem is creativity at its best. It has the power to calm, heal, rejuvenate, transform, and thrill. And in the same way, repeated evaporation and condensation purifies the rain. The entire environment gets drenched in the rain, dust particles settle down, and there is greenery everywhere, which makes the earth beautiful. The poet draws a parallel between the rain and the song, as both have rhythm and ability to thrill, both rejuvenate and beautify life. This was the most important summary because this summary mein I just completely take each and every part of the poem. This is one another summary that I have picked up from the internet. Let's see this as well because this was a good one. The Voice of the Rain by Walt Whitman is a conversational poem where the poet asks about the origin of rain. The rain describes itself as the poem of the earth, explaining its eternal cyclic journey from the land or sea to the sky and back to purify and nurture its origin. Personification: the rain is personified, answering the poet's question directly. There is a cycle because it rises invisibly as vapor from the land and the sea, then changes form in the sky, and then finally it falls back to cleanse the draughts, atomies, dust layers of the globe. And that is how it keeps moving in a complete cycle. The comparison: the rain calls itself the poem of the earth and compares its journey to a song which originates from the heart of the musician, just like the heart of the earth, travels to fulfill its purpose and returns to its source with love. One cares or don't cares, it completes its own part of work. Significance: the rain gives back life to its own origin, nourishes, seeds the earth, and enabling dormant, unborn life to thrive. Structure: it is written in free verse. The poem mimics the natural flow of rain, focusing on themes of nature, generation, and cycle of life. There are few important terms and phrases which you should remember. Impalpable, which cannot be touched, it is not visible. Lave, to wash or bathe the dust atomies, the dust layers of the earth. Atomies are the tiny dust particles. Latent, it basically refers to unborn or hidden seeds. Wrecked or unwrecked, cared or not cared for. At the end, इस poem का main highlight क्या है? That is the cyclic and nurturing nature of the environment, mirroring the creative process of the poetry itself, just like music. Because at the end, the poet draws a parallel between the rain and the music, both of them generates from the heart of the earth or from the musician, and both of them has a rhythm and the ability to thrill, both rejuvenate and beautify life. Anyone care or don't care about it, the song or the rain, they complete their own part of work, which is rejuvenating and beautifying life, and then they return to the origin. With this, we are done with this poem, but left with the last part of my every video, that is NCERT solutions. Let's do that. Okay, so I have picked the solutions from a random website, and now we'll be solving it. There are two voices in the poem. The poem contains two voices. The first is of the rain, and the second is of the poet himself. What does the phrase strange to tell mean? The phrase refers to a peculiar phenomenon where the raindrop responds to the poet's question, which is very strange because the rain cannot speak, but here it is expressing her thoughts and opinions. There is a parallel drawn between rain and music. Which words indicate this? The rain calls itself the poem of the earth, showing a connection between rain and poetry. The poet compares them by looking at how rain moves through its cycle, just like poetry comes from a poet's thoughts, rises and then reaches people. Rain also rises from the heart, forms clouds, and returns to the ground to complete its journey. In the poem, water rises from the land and deep sea into the sky. It turns into water vapor, forms clouds, and then falls back to the earth as rain. This rain removes dryness and eventually returns to its original source. This cycle of rain is similar to what we learn in science as the process of precipitation, where water keeps moving between the earth and the sky, and that is simply a water cycle. The last two lines are the poet's thoughts or observations, not part of the conversation between the poet and the rain. That's why they were placed in brackets to show that they are separate from the dialogue and express a general idea instead of something spoken by the rain or the poet. यहाँ पे एंटीथीसिस के तीन एग्जाम्पल हैं: डे, नाइट, रेकेट, अनरेकेट, राइज एंड डिसेंट. I inquired the soft falling rain about its identity. The voice of the rain introduced itself as the poem of the earth. Upward movement of the rain towards the sky is eternal. The poet says that similar to the natural cycle of the rain. Okay, I just vanished from the original thing we were discovering. Yeah. Yeah, yes. So, wait, yeah, we were here. The poet says that similar to the natural cycle of the rain, a song originates from the heart of the poet, travels to reach others, and after fulfilling its purpose, whether acknowledged or not, it returns to the poet with all due love. Look for some, right? This is done, and just like any other poem, we have completed this one as well. I'll be meeting you in the next video where we'll be completing the last poem, that is the father to the son and the childhood, and after that we'll be done with our one shot series from the hornbill of poems. Till then, take care and keep enjoying, keep subscribing, keep showering your love. Don't forget to like, share and comment. Bye bye.